Hello, hello. How are you? It's been a little while, I know. Okay, so it's great to be back. I want to talk today about the Alchemist Archetype. So I was born in 1971, and I think there's been, this whole movement from the 60s, 50s, really, it all began, where people began to start looking the word self didn't really exist before that. Like, really, people never really thought about, what was going on inside and how they felt. The life was very much five sensory. And now, today, look at where we are at. We are multisensory human beings. There is no way that we are just five senses anymore. And this is part of the struggles. This is part of the struggle that many of us, all of us, I would even dare say, are struggling with, because we are living in this energetic world with Wi-Fi. In this energetic realm, we wake up in the morning, we plug into it, and yet we also then have to figure out how to live on the earth with gravity in this five sensory dimension. And it's really tricky trying to work with both, isn't it? I think that's where a lot of us are really struggling with balance. And it's a lot for us energetically, and our our senses to deal with. So why do I bring that up? Because all of this energetic movement began back in the 50s, really. When we went into the nuclear age, we had to start really going inwards and looking at our own consciousness. Because if we didn't begin looking at our consciousness, then we could end up with pressing that button on the nuclear bomb. We have to figure it out in terms of like how we get to live together, not as one world, yes, as one world, but we are a number of countries and nations, and not that that is ever going to go away, likely. However, we all have an opportunity, and it's been happening. We've been evolving since then, in terms of taking responsibility for our own health, making our point of view matter, feeling empowered enough to trust our own point of view rather than following the supposed leadership of those in power. Well, it's turning around, isn't it? It's all turning around. However, that's a conversation for another day. What I want to talk today about is the Alchemist Archetype. And what is that? What is that about? For me, I was probably in my late teens when I heard about this amazing book by Paulo Coelho called The Alchemist. I read this book, and I loved it so much. It was an opportunity to dream about what is out there, what opportunities we have in this lifetime. I was a dreamer as a kid, and I still am. I don't dream anymore because I have a lot of life experience now, but I know and I trust that, and I know this is a really amazing, beautiful world that we live in, and that we can have anything that we want if we really live from a place of being in alignment and trust, and not holding on to baggage and blame and shame and all that stuff that keeps us stuck. I'm all about bringing the truth to everything. And look at how, there you go, another archetype, the truth teller, the whistleblower. How we've all, and I think I spoke about this in some of the previous sessions, but how as a collective, many of us have we have begun to alchemize our lives, to transform our lives, our environment, our relationships, our relationship with each other, with ourselves. Because rather than continue, there are still many of us that do continue to live and get stuck in this fated life experience. However, we have the option to cross that bridge and create our own destiny. And it's all about pulling up anchors and letting go of those tribal beliefs that we came into the world with, which I've covered in many of the sessions. But I want to talk today specifically about the Alchemist Archetype. So this book, I read it and I totally loved. I think it was probably one of the most, my first book, the first book that I read where I totally resonated with this shepherd boy and all the teachings he was receiving. They, for me, even back then, I'm 51 now, even back then, were powerful. They were connecting pieces for me. They were mystical truths that I related to, and I just loved that. I felt connected to what the teachings were. They made sense to me in my short life at that time. They still make sense to me hugely. I'm going to read you some of the passages from the book, some of the quotes from the book that are powerful. And I'm bringing this up today because there are so many of us that carry the alchemist archetype. This is the archetype that sees what is the fate of our own life, the fate of our country, the fate of communities right now and the world. And we want to do something about it. We want to change it in whatever way we can. We want to empower other people. We want to empower ourselves to choose change, to choose a new destiny, to transform something. And the alchemist archetype is in so many of us. It's ingrained. Archetypes are something that we come into this life with. They are ways of being that govern our behavior. They are perhaps soul archetypes, so something that we've brought in from a past life. They can also be the archetypes of our environment, what we've been born into, the systems that we've been born into, the psyche of our country. We carry these archetypes in our energy field. They are pinging off all over the place. It's the reason our archetypes are the reason that we feel we see someone or we get into a conversation and we're animated with them. They share an archetype with us. It's what creates communities. There's no right or wrong. It just is what is. It's what we live. It's just the truth of what we live. And when we start to really notice these archetypes, honestly, it's when you look at the world right now, when I look at the world right now, it's so clear to see people's archetypes playing out. There's no blame, there's no shame, there's no accusation in that. It's just, in fact, what is so amazing about learning to see that in that way is it actually helps us to, it takes away the ego. There is no judgment, there is no shame. It's actually, it brings compassion. It brings a connection, like an understanding, another level of understanding of people. It's so interesting. So the alchemist archetype is something that a lot of us share today. There are so many kids, our kids today, the younger generation, are carrying this through. I kind of feel like, my generation, we're kind of struggling actually, and our parents' generation as well, at finding this self empowerment, the truth, the trust and the knowledge that we are just whole and complete exactly as we are. We've got nothing to prove to anyone ever. But we've been struggling to let go of thinking that we do, believing that we do. And I took that baton from reading this book, The Alchemist, among many amazing books that I've read. And I find so much power, so much comfort in reading these types of books, because it's the truth mystically that we have all the opportunity in front of us in every moment to choose differently, to let go of what is true, what has happened, the past, who we've become. Yes, that is true, but the truth is that's gone now. So why would we want to hang on to something, an event, being the effect of, or a victim, or whatever it is, to something that's happened before? Yes, it's true, not negating history, whether it's global or universal or personal history. But the truth is, I have choice right now in how I think, how I behave, what it is that I want to say. So I don't have to stay stuck in that conversation. I can be present here and now and choose what is true in the vertical time right now, not past, right now, what is true for me. And that is what alchemy is about. It's about the realization and that we don't have to stay stuck. We can move that formula, we can change, we can transform lead to gold, steam to rain. Like, it literally is the truth. It's the law. We can. Steam forms in the clouds. It comes down as rain. It causes water, the ocean, liquid, and then it evaporates. It goes back up again and does the cycle all over again. Yeah, and it's like magic if you think about it. How can something in that form becomes matter here on earth? Well, it's like everything that we do. Everything that we do here and now, this pen is matter. It was at one point a thought. Someone had the thought, then they created it and it became matter. So lead to gold, what transformation, alchemy. Yes, I came from this upbringing. Yes, that's who I have become. However, it bears no relation, not really, when we're in alignment with the truth of choice right now, with that choice of alchemizing it. Yes, yesterday I was an addict, and today, now, and tomorrow going forward, I'm not anymore. It's that easy. I've done it with smoking. It's that easy when we get it, when we come into alignment. And I'm not saying I've got it all together, because I'm a long way from getting it all together. It's life. This is the journey. So let's put the alchemist on the map for everyone who has not landed, who has not animated yet with that archetype, because it's powerful. This is what is happening. Our kids are being born today, and many people are waking up today. They're bringing on this the alchemist archetype, amongst many, many others, the mystic. They're unattaching from what is matter, and they are coming into the present moment. Matter is like it's already been put down. It's like it's already there. So it's dense and it's in the past. They are alchemizing. They're coming into the vertical timeline, and it's very, very, and manifesting, creating their life. Very, very hard for our kids and people today who are super energetic. They're living in this energetic world. As I mentioned, we're all online, but we're struggling with being grounded. We're struggling with being on this earth. And all kinds of new illnesses and diseases are coming up because of that. And that's a whole other conversation that's bigger than I am. However, I want to bring in this archetype and talk about it because it's super powerful. And it's so not a surprise to me when I look back at my life, as we should all be able to look back and see how the dots were joined. You know, if you look back at your life and nothing has really happened, you're not looking deep enough, or you're not playing a big enough game. And I say playing a big enough game, that's kind of a generalization. You're living a fated life, and that's okay. We're not all going to download the Alchemist Archetype or the Mystic Archetype or all of these incredible archetypes, you know, going forward. But what we have to understand is that whilst ever there's a lot of people that don't carry those archetypes, there are a lot of people that do. And these are the people that are really coming into alignment in this world. I think that many of us are downloading this archetype now. So it's time, I feel, to just embrace these mystical archetypes. The alchemist, when I look back, knowing that that came into my consciousness, my life, and nothing happens by mistake. Nothing. Zero. Everything is perfect. Everything is in divine timing, even when it makes no sense and it's really hard at the time. When I look back, it came into my life for a reason. And I feel so comforted with that thought, looking back, that, oh my gosh, I had a little spark of connection with the alchemist archetype. It was in me. It started to animate. And it might have taken me 50 years or 30 years plus to really begin to alchemize. I was always alchemizing when I think about it. However, the connection to be able to now put it in words, in a simple format of the archetype, the animation, it animated itself in me, of that fated life, transforming it to creating my own life that so many of us are doing today. It's empowering. And this is what these Empowering Self and Soul Esteem sessions are about. It's to empower self-esteem and confidence, the knowing that we have everything we need, that our own intuition is the most powerful guidance we should ever follow. And I can promise you that whatever your intuition tells you, it will never be wrong. What anybody else is telling you to do might be right, but there's always a risk of it being wrong. Your intuition is the one to align with, to trust. And, you know, I could go on and on and on. I want to read to you a few little powerful quotes from Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist, and see how they land with you, because every single one of these is truth. And I'm not talking about my belief of what's true and what we just talked about history and what's gone down. This is truth. And if you choose to really hear what they are saying, it's wisdom. And wisdom comes from the truth of their universal truths. And he wrote this book. I love Paulo Coelho. Like, he landed it. And he lands all of his story, all of the stories. He lands wisdom to that altitude, universal wisdom. He lands it in the written word of his stories. And every book of his I've read, and they are so beautiful. All of his work is beautiful. And I like, he was literally one of the first teachers. He was the first teacher I had, without a doubt. The first teacher of the mystical realm that I had. It's a beautiful book. Everybody should read it. If you haven't read it, please read it. Okay, here's one. And basically it's about a shepherd boy who goes off in search of life and wisdom and the meaning of life. And he receives along the path, he just sets out like on a pilgrimage. He just sets out, does his work every day, just keeps going. Like a meditation, he just keeps going. He's committed. He's committed and being open to receiving the wisdom. And he receives messages through people, through animals, through angels, whatever you want to call it. It's just wisdom, and because he was open to receiving. It's such a beautiful book. These are all quotes, messages that he received. We are travelers on a cosmic journey, stardust swirling and dancing in the eddies and the whirlpools of infinity. Life is eternal. We have stopped for a moment to encounter each other, to meet, to love, to share. This is a precious moment. It is a little parenthesis in eternity. Here's another one. Such wisdom. You will never be able to escape from your heart, so it's better to listen to what it has to say. So powerful. When you think about everybody else's opinion, what everybody else wants you to do and say and be, it always comes back to what you already have, all the answers in your heart. Just forget all of that. Go straight in and start listening. So powerful. Another one. And it's so interesting when I think, gosh, I read this in my early 20s or late teens, and it went in. See how it went in. And now it's coming back, like it animated something in me. Everything that we read and everything that we say has so much power. It has so much power. So we have to be careful about what we listen to and what we read. Like, really. Here's another one. And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. So true. When you really want something, when you come into the alignment with true desire, it will manifest. It will come because it's the truth. There's no failing in the truth. Here's another one. The simple things are also the most extraordinary things. Only the wise see them. Let's say that again. The simple things are also the most extraordinary things, and only the wise can see them. Because the mystical person, someone who's wise and present, sees the details. When we're busy out there, 5 sensory, we miss so much. We just do. We really, really, really do. A few more, and I'll whiz through these because these are all short. There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. There you go again. When something is true, you can't fail. Stop with the fear. Stand in trust. Stand in the present moment. Trust that everything happens for a reason. There is no fear in trust. And if something goes wrong, just trust that it's for a reason. We get back up again and we go again. And we keep going and getting back up again. And that comes to the next one. The secret of life, though, is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. So no matter how many times you fall, stop quitting. Stop it. Get back up and you go again. You will never fail. Just trust. Be in your truth. So I love you because the entire universe conspired to help me to find you. The universe conspires to do everything. It controls everything. Everything is divine timing when we trust and we live in our truth. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity, with the universe and with eternity. So true. It's so true. We only get worried and we fear because of what we think or believe, fear we're going to lose. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. It's not in the heart. Truth and trust come from the heart. fear is created. No matter what he does, every person on earth plays a central role in the history of the world, and normally he doesn't know it. And that's what I'm talking about. So being in the present moment, being in a place of creation, which is, we can only ever create from a place of presence. This is where we create. Everything that's past, what might be true, is not truth. This is truth in vertical timeline. Kairos, not like really. This is where we get to create. This is when we're in truth and we get to create from that place, is where we get to create going forward. So hang on a second, let me just read where I said that. Yeah, so oh no, we're not at all. Sorry, I've lost my thread now. Yeah, no matter what he does, every person on earth brings a central. Okay, so what I'm saying is that the truth is that when we create something right now, because of the law of the universe, is that that sets in motion. It has, everything is cause and effect. So if we're going to change something, we get to start creating something new. That new thing is not going to happen by recreating the same thing. So be careful what we think. Be careful what we do when we set an intention, because that starts off a new creation, a new chapter, which of course in time, then looking ahead, becomes something of the past. So let's take responsibility for the choices that we make today. Let's alchemize fate to destiny. Let's move forward from a place of creation in the present moment. Yes, the past has created who we've become. That's true. But the truth is we can alchemize that. We can shift that and create anything going forward in our lives. We are more powerful than yesterday. So let's live today. Let's alchemize. Let's do what we can to create the life that we want, a better world in our individual lives, which will have the ripple effect on the rest of the world. Voila, and the rest of creation right now. And let's face it, you know, it starts with us and what we say. We have to be so careful. We have to be totally responsible and just trust that every little relationship, our relationship with ourselves, will have an effect on our relationship with others, which will then help them on their journey to then start doing life in a more balanced, creative way for them as well. And that's why I'm here, to share this Paulo Coelho's wisdom with you. This is something that we already know. We just get to now start living it. All right, sending you much love. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope this has been supportive. Please share your comments and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye for now.